Hi, my name is Kathy Moyne, and we are here at Green Thumb Nursery today to look at all of our dormant roses that we got in. They finally all came in, yay! So now we have a full selection of what we're going to be carrying this year, and I thought I would highlight some of the new ones and highlight some of my favorites in the different categories. We have Floribundas, hybrid teas, climbers, and then we have a group of promotional roses that we've lowered the price on, so you can get a decent rose for a decent price. So today I'm going to highlight just a few that I really like. This one here is called Grand Dame, and this one has a large pink flower. Has about 30 petals on it. So a lot of things that we look for on these roses are petal counts, and that makes them look nice and full. The smaller petal counts, the less fuller the flower is. So they've kind of bred them all to have fuller flowers on them. So petal count around 30 is a decent amount. Anything above that is a lot. So your romanticas happen to be more like an English rose, which has a lot of petals on it. So we've got those as well. And the Floribundas have lots of roses, so clusters of roses, so we have a lot of those as well. So this is a hybrid tea, and it is very fragrant. Most of these roses I've tried to bring in the varieties that are disease resistant, so this is one of the disease resistant varieties that we're carrying. And we have a lot of different pink ones to choose from. This one here is called Raspberry Cupcake. This one is brand new this year, and as you can see, it's a little bit smaller canes, but it is going to be a beautiful rose when it gets going. It is highly disease resistant, and it has a great fragrance. So then we're going to come down here. This one here is one of my favorites. This one is Barbara Streisand, and she is a purple, kind of a two-tone purple, very fragrant. Has shiny glossy foliage, which makes it a lot more disease resistant than a lot of other varieties, and it's a really strong rose. It's been around a while, as you can tell from the name, Barbara Streisand. So I grew up with her, and it's a great rose. It's really very fragrant. Then I have Fragrant Plum. This is also a two-tone purple. These are both hybrid teas, disease resistant, and as it says, it is very fragrant. So a lot of these are fragrant. This one is a fairly new one. This one is called Perfume Factory, and it is pretty much that, a perfume factory. It also has a nice glossy foliage and very disease resistant, very fragrant, great performer in the garden. Then we have a line of white roses that are along here. This one here is also a brand new selection for us. This one's called Top Cream. And again, these are bred to be disease resistant. This one has a fairly high petal count. As you can see, it's got a lot of petals in the flower right there. So that makes them nice and full. And again, very disease resistant. And then we come down here. These are our Floribundas, which are the ones that grow in clusters. My all-time favorite, probably of all roses, is the Ketchup and Mustard. As you can see, it is a two-tone flower, yellow and red. This rose is the rose that if you have a difficult area for roses, this is the one you want to get. Now, roses need at least 5 hours of direct sun, and they also need good air circulation. So don't try to stick them in the corner somewhere or stuff them up real close against each other. You want them to have some good air circulation. Usually want to leave about 3 feet around, allow 3 feet for the rose to grow and have some air circulation. But this rose is the rose that if you have a place that you really want a rose, but you just don't quite have the full sun, or you just don't quite have the air circulation you're looking for, this one is the one you want to try. This one is one of the best ones ever. The fragrance is but you know what? If you can't have a rose anywhere else but there, this would be a good one to put it in. So Ketchup and Mustard, my favorite rose, I think, of all of them, just because of the performance. Okay, then we're gonna come down in here we're gonna over here, oh, Vavoom. Vavoom is just exactly what it says. It's an explosion of color, bright orange. It is exactly this color. If you can see it, the tags are getting a little wet from all the rain we've been getting. And this one it's got a dark green foliage, very glossy, so that also makes it, anytime they have glossy foliage, that makes them very resistant to powdery mildew, and that's one of our big ones that we get here. We have a lot of overcast at night, and people like to water at night too, which also encourages the powdery mildew. Anything with a glossy foliage resists that powdery mildew, so that's a good thing. Dark green foliage, bright orange flowers, so it really pops well against the foliage. So this is a good choice for Vavoom. So over here we have our patio roses, and these are the little ones. These only get about 2 feet tall, 2 feet wide. The new one this year is the cherry sunblaze, which is a nice red flower. And these are about the size of a 50-cent piece. So these are great for containers. These are great for putting on your patio, for giving as gifts, because somebody can put it in a small area and still have a beautiful rose. Like in here, like the little cutie. Look how just the shape of that flower. It looks like you took a hybrid tea rose and shrunk it down into a little bitty rose. So they're so pretty. There's a little bit of fragrance on them, like the Veranda Cream. It has some fragrance on it, and it's also very disease resistant. So we got some nice choices here if you want to put something in a container. So now we're going to come over here, and we're going to go back into our hybrid tea roses. With hybrid teas are usually a long stem with a single rose on there. So if you're thinking about a cutting rose, usually a hybrid tea is what you're after. So we'll come in. Oh, I forgot, I got my iceberg roses here. We've got the 3 icebergs. We've got the pink iceberg, we've got the burgundy iceberg, and then we got the regular iceberg. I do have a lot of these. Don't let this empty bin fool you. I just haven't had a chance to get down here and fill them up. I've got lots of these. For the price they are, I promise you, if you wait to get a potted rose, you're not going to be happy that you didn't come down here and get some of these icebergs in this dormant rose. Now, dormant roses are actually in pulp pots. They're in a paper pot inside with potting soil. So these are like a little potted rose. They're not like the old-fashioned dormant rose where we stuck them in sawdust and the roots were really spindly and wimpy. These guys are like putting them in a pot. So even if you don't get them planted right away, they can stay in these containers for a while, and they can actually flush out inside of these containers. So it gives you a little chance, if like it starts raining again and you don't have a chance to get them in the ground, they'll still grow like they are in these containers. So don't let that scare you. And let me tell you, this is a great deal compared to what they're going to be when we bring them in the containers, because the prices have unfortunately gone up like everything else. So if you need some icebergs, come down and get them now, because they're not going to last too much longer. I also have one of my favorite ones for a red hybrid tea is Ink Spot. Now this one here is a very dark red, has almost black if you're going to go for a black. Blackish type rose. It's very fragrant, disease resistant as well. And then of course I've got Legends, which is a huge red rose. These things in the spring, the very first flush of flowers, until it gets really hot, they're huge. They can be the size of your face. Legends was the Oprah Winfrey rose. She dedicated them to all the women that are legendary. So then we have over here, this one is called Rouge Royale, and this is another one of those. Actually, you may want to get a picture of this. This is probably a little bit better. Those, as you can tell, have got a ton of petals in there. This is what we call a Romantica. It is not an English rose, but it's very close to an English rose. It's very fragrant. It is also disease resistant, so this is another good choice for your garden. A nice red rose. So now we're going into, this is another brand new rose for this year. This one is called Heavenly Scented, and it is highly scented, and again, very disease resistant. You can see it's already flushing in the pot. and it's got some nice glossy foliage already. And this one has a very good sized rose, a large rose. So then we're going to, and then we have the Princess Charlene de Monaco, which is another one of those. I'll let you get a picture of that, it's a little bit better. Again, one of those Romantica rose with lots of petals, really good fragrance. It's a strong rose. Can't go wrong with that. Here's another brand new one. This one is called Morning Glow. I guess just let you get the photo there. It's a lot better on the photo. Again, now this one is actually a Floribunda, so it's going to have clusters of roses. It does have a nice glossy foliage, as you can see there, nice and glossy, and that's going to help it be more disease resistant. They are loving this weather, guys. So, okay, then we also have one of my favorites. This one here is a Neil Diamond. And remember what Neil Diamond, he's a good singer, and we've got a good rose that goes along with it. This is a very popular variety. We have quite a few of them. This one is a brand new variety this year. This one is called Picture Perfect. It is pink with a white reverse and nice pointy centered, high centered bud. And again, this is a very disease resistant rose as well. And then of course we have our Eden Climbers, where these are a very popular climbing rose. As you can see, it's so pretty. It's also Romantica, has lots of petals in there. It's a good disease resistant. The flowers are fragrant, and sometimes it can be a really darker pink and sometimes it can be a lighter pink. But this one is very popular, and I do have quite a few in stock, so come on down and get you some. This one here is your pretty in pink Eden, which is a darker pink shade of pink, and it also is very hardy as well. Now I do have a few of my promotional roses down here. They are growing quickly because they're $19.97 right now. One of my favorite ones, all-time favorite, is the Double Delight, and I do have quite a few of those still in stock. So if you're looking for an inexpensive rose that's going to give you lots of fragrance and good flower production, the Double Delight would be a great choice for you. So thank you so much for watching, and come on down and get some roses.